Once upon a time, in ancient Greece, there was a beautiful princess named Io. She was one of Zeus' mortal lovers, which made her of significant importance as she was an ancestor of many heroes and kings. Io was known for her stunning beauty, and her story was often compared to that of the Egyptian goddess Isis. Interestingly, Io had an Egyptian husband named Telegonus, who was believed to be Osiris. Their love was said to be so intense that it inspired the Egyptians to worship them as gods. Despite Io being of Argive descent, she was highly respected in Egypt, perhaps even more so than in her homeland. In 1614, an astronomer named Simon Marius discovered a moon of Jupiter and named it Io in honor of the Argive princess. This was a great honor for Io, and it became an interesting detail in her story that continued to be passed down through generations. Another interesting detail about Io is that her brother, Phoroneus, is also referred to as Io or Phorones. This is believed to be due to a mistranslation of ancient texts, which led to the confusion of their identities. Overall, Io was a fascinating figure in ancient mythology, and her story continues to live on today through various mediums such as literature and astronomy, where her name and legacy are honored. Once upon a time in ancient Argos, there was a priestess named Io who had caught the eye of the mighty Zeus. Unable to resist her beauty, Zeus turned Io into a heifer in an attempt to hide her from his jealous wife Hera. However, Hera was no fool and saw through Zeus's trick. She begged Zeus to gift her the heifer, and he complied. Hera then sent Argus Panoptes, a giant with 100 eyes, to watch over Io so that Zeus could not rescue her. But Zeus was determined to free Io, so he sent his messenger Hermes to slay Argus. Upon achieving this, Io was left to wander the world with a gadfly sent by Hera constantly chasing her. It wasn't until Io met the god Prometheus that she was given hope for a better future. Prometheus comforted Io by revealing to her that she would be restored to human form and become the mother of the great hero Heracles. Io traveled across the sea to the land of Egypt and gave birth to Zeus's son before marrying the Egyptian king Telegonus. Io never forgot her roots in Argos and was commemorated at the Heraeon. Her relationship with the king Phoroneus even earned her the name Phorones. Despite the hardships she faced, Io remained steadfast and eventually rose to greatness, becoming an ancestor of heroes. Lygdus and Telethusa, a poor couple from Crete, were overjoyed when they discovered that they were going to have a baby. However, their happiness was short-lived, as Lygdus told his wife that they could not afford to have a daughter and that they should make arrangements to kill the child if she turned out to be a girl. Telethusa was heartbroken, but she felt helpless and didn't know what to do. 8 months into the pregnancy, a vision of Io appeared to Telethusa in her dream. Io advised her to keep the baby girl and said that the child would bring them happiness and success. The vision also instructed Telethusa to name the child Iphis, and to tell her husband that it was a boy. When Iphis was born, Telethusa told her husband that they had a son. Lygdus was thrilled and named the child after himself. However, Telethusa was worried that their secret would be discovered, and that Lygdus would be angry and disappointed. As Iphis grew up, she became a beautiful and kind-hearted young woman. She also fell in love with a young woman named Ianthe, and they became engaged. However, their marriage was impossible because of Iphis' gender. They both knew that their love was true, but they didn't know what to do. In a miraculous turn of events, Isis, also known as Io, appears to Iphis and transforms her into a man. Iphis was overjoyed and grateful for the intervention of the divine. The transformation allowed the wedding ceremony to take place, and Iphis and Ianthe lived happily ever after. This incredible tale of transformation and true love highlights the power of a mother's love and the intervention of the divine in human affairs. It also shows that gender does not define a person's identity and that love conquers all. Io was a fascinating figure in Greek mythology, with different versions of her story cropping up across the centuries. According to some accounts, she was the daughter of Inachus and Melia, while others claimed her father was Peiron, the son of Argus. But it was Io's transformation that really captured the imaginations of the Greeks. As the Greek geographer Pausanias recounts, Io was transformed into a stunning white heifer after catching the eye of Zeus and incurring the jealousy of his wife Hera. For many, this was Io's most famous tale. Yet there were other versions of her story that were just as alluring. One such tale featured a later generation of Io, who was said to be the daughter of Iasus, the son of Argus and Ismene. Some stories held that Io's mother was called Leucane, while others claimed she was the daughter of Paranthus, named Calithia. Whatever the case, it was clear that Io was a fascinating character whose tale had captivated generations of Greeks. Despite the various discrepancies in her story, one thing remained constant: Io was a symbol of transformation and transcendence, a powerful reminder that even the lowliest creature could be transformed into something beautiful and extraordinary.
Do you want to explore more Greek mythology stories? Who do you want to see featured next? Subscribe and leave a comment below to let me know. I'll see you in the next video.